Hello, good evening, and welcome to the LFC Daytrippers. It is a Premier League week. We have nothing really to review because it was an international break, so we're going to take a look ahead at what's to come this upcoming weekend. I'm your host, Matt. I'm joined tonight by a actual green screen Luke because he's working off of his phone and not his computer tonight. So the illusion is shattered. Luke, you're just in fact sitting in front of a green screen. How are you tonight?
Hey, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good considering the issues I've been having with my internet. So apart from that, we're feeling good.
There we go. Yeah, you're on it. So first thing tonight, just going to get this out of the way. Ashley, I'll had it in the comments. Happy birthday to Avo. He is an avid member of the chat. He's here pretty much for every single show. It is his, I think, 111th birthday or something along those lines. He's quite old, the Avo is. But from everybody at the LFC Daytrippers and everybody in the chat, I hope you're having a happy birthday, Avo. So finally, mercifully, the international break is over. We came through mostly unscathed, it seems like, Luke. It seems like Darwin maybe has picked up a bit of an injury on Uruguay duty, though.
I think it's just a precaution. I think I saw something from Bielsa saying that it's a slight precaution, slight muscular precaution. So he took him off half-time in the last game, which is sort of rare from international managers to actually care about the player when he goes back to the club. Some international managers are like, yeah, he's all right. He'll get through 45. I don't really care what condition he comes back to for his club side. So I don't think we'll see him starting this weekend. I think he'll be on the bench at best. Maybe he may miss out altogether. It just depends on how severe it is.
Yes, and we are joined tonight by Dan, who is fashionably late, shall we say. A good Arsenal fan.
Yeah, sorry, boys.
That's all right. It's the chat is a stickler for us starting on time, so I thought, who knows when he'll be here. We'll just get started. And we were about to start slagging Arsenal, but you showed up, so
good timing then. Good timing. Great timing.
Yes. So, how are you tonight, Dan?
Yeah, good. Thursdays are a tough one for me, but yeah, busy day at work. Looking forward to the weekend. I would like to say I'm looking forward to football being back, but we have our bogey fixture upon us, which I'm sure we'll get into. But I'm glad international football break is over. I'm really glad to see the back of that. But yeah, other than that, well, good to always be on this show. And yeah, looking forward to dive into. I'm looking forward to talking about other teams first. And then, yeah, we'll get on to Everton away, which is a fixture I've never liked, to be honest. But yeah.
Yeah, well, nobody really likes going to Goodison. I don't even know if the Blues like going to Goodison these days because it's a lot of moaning. So we were just having a little chat about how the Liverpool players fared in the international break. It looks like Darwin Nunez might have picked up a little bit of a muscular thing. How did the Arsenal players do away on international duty? Any casualties?
No, from what I know, all good. Jesus looked good. He seems to be up and running. It'd be interesting to see if he gets a start at the weekend. For me, I was glad that Saka came back with no injuries. I was a bit disappointed to see him even get any minutes, really. I don't think it was really necessary with the other players that were called up. But yeah, all good. I think we're looking to be coming back with a full strength team as to what we know. So, but yeah, I mean, it's a tough one. It's been a bit interesting for Arsenal because 2 seasons or 3 seasons ago, there was not barely any international players in the team. Now, majority of the squad is. So, you know, it's an exciting time for us, but it's also scary because all it takes is one of our special players to get a knock and we're back to square one. You know, we haven't got that depth anymore, but luckily we've survived the break and hopefully, you know, I didn't enjoy having a break this time of the season. I feel like we haven't had enough Premier League football. It was a bit too soon.
We got spoiled last season.
Yeah, and it started getting really exciting. You know, we've got some tough games coming up in the space of a month. We've got Tottenham at home, and then we've got City at home. So it came, like Tottenham are looking good. As much as I hate to say it, but it came at a wrong time for us. But also maybe like we had a hard game against Fulham at home. A tough result that was. Like no one expected to get a draw there, so we could have dealt with just responding quickly. Whereas now we've had a break, then we got Everton away. I hate international breaks this time of year. I just feel like it should be forbidden. I think I'm hoping I'm preaching for the choir, and a lot of people agree. But yeah, the Premier League is only just lifted off. We don't need a break just yet.
Yeah, I'm fully in agreement. I mean, being Canadian, I really couldn't care less about our national team. We're going to the World Cup next time around, regardless.
Who's your best player? I'd love to,
Alphonso Davies, baby.
Yeah, I thought it would be him. Yeah.
Oh, he's a superstar. He's basically just given free reign to do whatever he wants. In the qualifying for the last World Cup, the games that we had to win, watching him play like against Mexico and the United States and stuff like that, it was figure out a formation for the other 9 players and let Alphonso do what he needs to do. And he fired the goals and made the performances to get us there. So it's all good. We're going to 2 World Cups in a row. So that's all that matters. But completely agree. I mean, Arsenal in the same boat as Liverpool, 3 wins and a draw to get the season started. You know, we're just finding some form. Our formations are clicking. Our new players are settling in nicely, and all of a sudden lets everybody stop for 2 weeks. And, you know, with the exception of the Darwin little knock that he picked up, we seem to have come through pretty much unscathed. Of course, Trent didn't go away, having picked up a little bit of a hamstring issue in the Aston Villa game just before the international break. Ibu Konate missed that game, also didn't go away with France. But yeah, it's nice not having, you know, a Naby Keita in the squad who would be injured and then go away on international duty with Guinea and come back somehow even more injured. So happy days that's now a Wolfsburg problem and not a Liverpool problem. So before we get into talking about the 2 main events of the weekend for all of us involved, which is, of course, Liverpool and Arsenal, taking a look at some of the other games that are going off this weekend, and there's some juicy ones. And I mean, I think there's only one place to start. And Luke, I'll come to you first on this. And Paul Gilligan's wanting to know about Jadon Sancho and the 10-bag drama club, because Manchester United, who is one of those teams that probably were happy to see the international break coming around, they host Brighton, and things are not so great at Old Trafford, are they?
No, Manchester United, the gift that keeps on giving. You're thinking, we're going to have a really boring international break, not a lot to talk about. Manchester United just went, hold on, hold my beer, hold 2 beers, because we've not got 1 controversy. We've got 2 for 2 weeks. And now Sancho's been told, because he doesn't want to say sorry to Ten Hag, he's been told that he can train away from the squad. So that's more drama, more pressure heaped on the manager. And considering that they've got Brighton at home, Brighton who beat them, I believe it was the first home game last season that Brighton beat Manchester United. So all the pressure is on United. Could you imagine if they lost or not picked up a result or not even play well against Brighton? The pressure is going to be so much on United. Like I have a sixth sense that he could get sacked this season. Ten Hag could get sacked if it gets too much. But on the opposite way around, if he somehow pulls out a win, then it could galvanise the players that still are pulling in his direction to sort of pull them out the mess. So it's on a knife edge. This game's on a knife edge. If they win, it could propel their season onwards. But if they lose, it's going to be a good season. It's going to be a good season for us to watch United crash and burn.
Yeah, I mean, Dan, you guys may have broken them a little bit. I mean, I don't know if Brighton will get quite as lucky as Arsenal got by facing a center half pairing of Harry the Fridge Maguire and Johnny Evans. But I mean, United have some injury concerns right now. Like Luke Shaw out, Malacia out, Varane out, Lisandro Martinez is a doubt, Amrabat is a doubt, Mount is a doubt. And then, of course, Anthony and Jadon Sancho are both suspended by the club for internal reasons. It's looking like, who does that leave? Lindelof and Maguire to play center half for them? Like
Johnny Evans.
Yeah. I mean,
Johnny Evans.
I mean, the fact that Johnny Evans is back in the squad just speaks volumes. You know, it happened during pre-season. They brought him back on a temporary contract. And even that was just a joke. You know, I'm sure United fans themselves were just looking and thinking, what is going on here? But the fact they had to then again bring him in for the Premier League on a temporary contract is just mind-blowing. And to deal with all this on the outside as well, they've had real unfortunate circumstances. If I'm going to take my rivalry hat off, then I need to look at it and think it's not been good. You know, they've had the problems with their number 11, and it's not just been a problem for Man United, it's been a problem for England as well, because we've been speaking about international. You take Kane out of the equation, there's not really a striker coming through the ranks at the moment, and they've not really got one in their team anymore either. Rashford, it's all about him, and luckily last season he was phenomenal again. You know, he was sort of born again. They need that. Otherwise, you look outside of the team. If you look away from Rashford, there's no one there really ticking all the boxes. And obviously we've spoken of the drama that they've had in the last few weeks. They've had the drama with Sancho, the drama with Anthony, obviously, but they're giving Sancho a lot of slack for not performing. I don't really see who else in that team is performing to the standard. He's not the only one. You know, Martial has not delivered for a number of seasons. Anthony himself has not delivered. Why is Sancho getting all this stick? I don't understand it. Obviously, in training, Ten Hag sat there in an interview and said, you know, Sancho's not delivering to expectations. Okay, fine. But what are the other players showing you? Because they're all being given a chance. I'm not seeing anything different from them. But yeah, they've got a lot to worry about. My family are all Man United fans, so I'm sitting here trying not to giggle. But I think they've got too much to. I think he'll be gone. I agree with Luke. I think this game is definitely make or break. I think if they lose this one, it could really, you know, stir the pot and get the pot really boiling, if you ask me.
Because fans are already...
Yeah, the fans are already on his back.
Already saying that, not convinced, want him to go. So already, this is we're 5 games in, 4 games in.
They've got a lot more to come. This is the problem. And, you know, they can't sign anyone now. They bought Højlund. I feel sorry for him, if anyone, at the moment, because he's brought in with huge weight on the shoulders. We've seen how it goes. You know, I'm an Arsenal fan. We've seen what happened with Pepe. 75 million spent. You get huge pressure.
Darwin Nunez,
and he wasn't even played. Højlund is going to get straight in that team because there's no one else to play there. So he'll be playing every week, and the pressure will be right on him. The cameras will be on him. You know, the commentators will be there. People are already putting him in conversations with Haaland and stuff like that. It's like he's not there yet. They've spent stupid money because they're desperate, and I think he might regret the move personally, because at least where he was in Italy, there was no pressure. You know, he was scoring goals. Now he's young. I think it might be. I think they need some. I think they need some mentality, some leadership. I don't think Fernandes is the right captain at the moment. I really don't. No. I think that's another desperate call. I think it's just a case that there's no one else there. Yeah, fine. Maguire's not working out, but to just throw him into the middle of the park and just give him the armband, it really.
You know what feeling I get from Ten Hag? You know what feeling I get from him? I get Ollie vibes. Don't fear him whatsoever. I'm like, okay, you can stay, because hey, you can.
I feel like he's just trying to please the players too much as well. Like sometimes you need to. I feel like he's dancing and skipping around things where you need to just lead and take ownership and actually make a decision.
Well, he did do that last season.
Yeah.
With Ronaldo, we did the interview and I was like, okay, see you later. You're off. You're out. You sort of gone against me. And with the Sancho thing, he gave him a lot of slack last season. Gave him 3 months off to sort of sort himself out mentally and stuff like that. So and protected him a lot last season. People asking, where is he? Where is he? Where is he? He shielded him a lot. Like, we don't know what's going on behind closed doors. He could have been rollicking him in training, saying, turn up early. Like, the attitude's not good enough. You need to train harder, train harder, train harder, train harder. And for me, like, when managers call out a player, you get one shot to call out a player or players, because once that doesn't work and sort of players go, well, what's he going to do? He's just going to call me out. And...
I think the timing of it is mad as well. Like, for me, you've got a 75 million player there. Well, you've spent 75 million, maybe not you, but the board and the club have spent 75 million or whatever they did on Sancho. If you're going to do this, do it at the right time where you can maybe, you know, Because what are they going to do? What are they going to do now with him? He's not going to go Dubai, is he? He's not going to go Saudi Arabia or anything like that. They're stuck with him now, and it's kind of like, what was the whole point of that interview? I don't get. I don't. If anything, it's actually decreased the value in what they can make, because people are going to look at him and think his head's not all there. His own manager has just publicly announced that he's not good enough for a Man United team where realistically,
I don't think
it's not that hard to get into.
I just believe that he's just said, he's not training to the level, and he might have warned him, like there's only so long that I can shield you from the media. Like, eventually, I'm going to tell them that you're not training up to the level. And Ten Hag could be thinking, okay, he's just lost a tight game against Arsenal. He must be feeling, if only maybe Sancho could have changed the game for me, but his levels aren't there in training, and I can't pick him.
Yeah,
and he did get asked the question. He did get asked the question. Yes, he could have done the manager thing. He's got a knock, tactical, not feeling well. But when you see the Sancho statement, he said, I think I'm going to paraphrase a bit of it. He said, other factors. Let's say Ten Hag did say, oh, he's ill. What happens if Sancho put, oh, I'm not ill? He's lying. I'm not ill. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe he is lying. But the fact is, he's come out and said that it's training issues, that he's not trained to the level. For me, that's him finitoed. Like, that's him done. Like, there's no coming back. It's a shame because he's such a talented player, but it's all about here. Maybe he just.
I hope Ten Hag knows what he's doing, because at the moment, Garnacho, for God's sake, is playing every week, and he's got terrible. Sancho and Anthony just at the moment not knowing what to do with. That's 200 million nearly worth of wingers. Absolutely just waste. It's madness.
It's so funny. I mean, Kev O'Sullivan, he says, I don't get why Sancho should shut up. His manager called him out and he replied. He wasn't rude about it. And the fact that Rashford liked Sancho's comment, all is not well. Ten Hag should be under a lot more pressure.
I completely agree. I completely agree with Kevin.
Rashford thing's fake, by the way. Fake.
I agree with the Sancho thing, though. People are calling out Sancho for responding. If your manager talks about you like that, why should you not retaliate? Like, if he doesn't, he's just going to look even more weak, and he needs to protect his career. The guy's like 26 years of age or whatever, maybe even 22. Younger. He's 22. He's a lot younger. He's a lot younger. Like, he's 22 years. He's got potentially 10 years of a career left. Why should he let his manager call him out publicly on Sky Sports and sit back and just watch his career go down the drain? He needs to make a statement. Otherwise, he could end up, I don't know, it could be a Jack Wilshere in the making. It could be anything. You know, he wants to literally play football. That's all he cares about, whether it's for Man United. But if you do not respond to something like that, you are throwing yourself down a really bad road. Fair play to him for responding, to be honest. And I'd be baffled if anyone didn't. I'd be more shocked and disappointed if someone was to just let that said about you, because they're saying you're not putting the work in training, and apparently there was some sort of rumors that players were on the manager's side. Behave. Like, loads of people haven't turned up for Man United in the last few seasons. Not just him. There's been so many players to do it. Why should he be, pointed out just because he's not scored a few goals? I could name you 10 players that I've seen at Man United that haven't lived up to expectation. But yeah.
Yeah, Midnight Toker, he says, it seems Sancho has some mental demons, so making a public example out of him is a shithouse trick. And I kind of agree with that. Like, if you look back at what happened last year, of getting that time off to, go and get himself sorted out, there's clearly something going on behind the scenes that, hopefully it's handled with in a way that's the best for Jadon Sancho as the person. It does not seem like that's happening in the correct way. And I think Sam Tandy nailed it here. He says, I think Ten Hag is pushing Sancho out as a good excuse for him to say, we're short in attack, and that's why we're struggling this season. So,
definitely see
that. It continue. Yeah, let's all put our partisan, supporters hats on again.
Every team needs a scapegoat, doesn't they? That's the problem. Like, you need a scapegoat.
Hey, man, you got several scapegoats. They've got Maguire as a scapegoat. They've got Evans as a scapegoat, ready, locked and loaded.
Yeah.
And now
well, they brought a couple new ones in. Sergio Reguilon, he's going to be in for a trial by fire. And whenever Amrabat gets fit and into the team, he's going to be it's going to be a real harsh lesson, I think, moving from Fiorentina to that Manchester United crucible. But moving on, I mean, a couple of the other notable games: West Ham United hosting Manchester City. I mean, West Ham have been so much better than I thought they were going to be. Last show I did, I had to own up and admit that I thought West Ham were going to get relegated this year. I thought they were really going to struggle, having lost Declan Rice. They've been fantastic so far, and this is a big test, I think, for Man City. I mean, Den, do you think there's any hope of West Ham getting points off of City this game?
I can't wait for this game, if I'm being honest. Obviously, since Declan Rice came over to us, there's been a lot of, I don't know, banter between West Ham and Arsenal fans. A lot of West Ham fans saying they're better off without Rice. And yeah, I'm inclined to agree with them. They've spent the money well. They're looking good. Ward-Prowse, if you put Maddison aside, probably the signing of the season. He's looked absolutely brilliant for them. I think it's probably one of the best signings I've seen in a long time. Ward-Prowse was one of them players that I always saw at a club. I never thought he was top 6, but I just always saw him moving on from Southampton. I didn't see him as, one of the players that stays forever. It seems like the perfect fit. And considering they've lost Rice and they've come out, not looking, and Rice is a quality player. He's looked good for us, but the fact that they don't look like they've really missed him whatsoever, not even in one game, is mind-blowing. I've got to put my hats off to them because they're not really one of our rivals, as much as people like to sit there and laugh and have a joke with all these accounts. We are nowhere near them, and luckily, we won't have to worry. I don't think they'll be up there this season at all, but I think this will be a brilliant game. I'm a bit gutted it's not on TV, if I'm being completely honest, because it will be one of the watches of the weekend. I think if you're watching Match of the Day on a Saturday night, wouldn't surprise me if this is the game of the weekend. There's going to be goals in it for sure. It'll be interesting to see how the midfield adapt. I think this will be the first test for the likes of Ward-Prowse, Alvarez. I think, yeah. I don't think Paqueta is going to get a lot of ball. I think City are just they can switch that midfield up completely. And even Calvin Phillips just had a good game for England, to be honest, who I don't really rate, but he actually just had a good game for England. Well, best of a bad bunch, we say, other than obviously Foden and Bellingham. I think I would honestly I'd be shocked if West Ham don't get a point at least out of this. I would go for a 2-2 if I was going to call it. I think West Ham are going to do. I just think at the moment the fans are behind them, and they're really pushing for points. And City are getting a little bit. I'm not going to say they're caught or Haaland's been, identified and found out. I think West Ham will know what to do. I think they'll shut the right players off. I think Moyes is kind of good in tactics in terms of setting out an idea in his head. And all they realistically need to do at the moment, I believe, anyway, is just close down the middle of the park, because Haaland started to look good again. He got the hat trick the other week. I think if they can close him down, they'll get a goal. I worry about City's depth now. They got rid of Mahrez, who I think is one of the most underrated players in the Premier League. I think he's phenomenal. And that's not just going off Leicester. That's going off what he did at City. He was so unmatched there. He was scoring goals for fun whenever he was on the field. Grealish had a great season last season. This season, I don't know. I think the weight might be too much pressure on him. I think people are going to expect the same again. I don't think he'll get that. And the midfield, Rodri as well. That'll be a huge test. Going up against the likes of Rodri and Bernardo Silva is different kettle of fish for what West Ham have been up against at the moment. But 2-2. It'll be a good game. Hopefully, it'll be one of the only few games this season which we don't have to watch on Match of the Day and we actually see on Sky Sports. Should have been the Sunday afternoon game other than ours.
It should have been the late night kickoff.
Yeah, or the 8 p.m.
Newcastle Brentford.
You poor buggers over there, not just having access to every single game live. I mean, I'll be doing the post-match show when the 3 o'clocks kick off, but as soon as we get wrapped up on full-time Reds after we play Wolves on Saturday, I'll be going down and putting the multiplex on and there's 5 games on at the 3 o'clock, so I'll have to choose one that I won't be able to watch. So it's just so strange that in
I'm coming
the
to Canada. Bloody
homeland,
hell.
yeah, all you need is a good VPN and sign up for Fubo TV, which carries all the Premier League games, and you can watch everything live as it goes on. But Luke, how do you feel? Like, Dan, you mentioned, like, trying to focus on closing Holland down, and it's been such a change this season that Guardiola's been playing both Alvarez and Holland at the same time. I got them both in my fantasy team, so it's been great for me. And I mean, Jonathan, with the question, do we captain Holland? That's the question coming into this weekend.
Yes, you do. To curse him, you do.
I don't think you do. I went 1 week. I think it was the second or the third week. He ended up not scoring. I took a chance. I didn't captain him. Can't remember who I went with. I think I went with Mbumo. Yeah, Brian Mbumo, and he got me huge points. So I'm sitting top of my little friends league. But like, you can shut Holland down, but they've got so many other threats around the pitch. But somebody pointed out here, it went because the chat's really flying by, of like Jared Bowen. Like, he finished last season with, the way that you grow up dreaming of finishing off a season, scoring the winning goal in a European Cup final, not the European Cup that anybody wants to win. It's the third tier one, but at the same time, it's a pretty fair tail ending for him. Exactly. And I mean, especially for a club like West Ham that doesn't get a lot of opportunities for European trophies, that's great for them. And he's rolled that over into this season. Like, you think it's going to be a high scoring game?
I don't actually. I think City have got the best defense in the league, so I reckon it's going to be a low scoring game. Game to be honest, it's a tricky one because I think City. I think they've got quite a few doubts. I don't think there's, apart from De Bruyne, that's definitely out. I think several players have got slight concerns, so I don't know what City team's going to turn up in terms of personnel wise, but. Hey, I'm hoping for a draw because City's that winning run needs to stop. Like, it needs to stop because the last time City won their first 4 games in a row, it was when they got 100 points. So we need to stop that winning run like now before the train has bolted and no one's catching them. So I'm hoping for a West Ham win, but I just got this feeling that Haaland's just going to get one opportunity. And then he's going to score, and then City will close out the game because City have been pretty good at getting a goal or two and go, okay, we'll just close the game out, which is something very unlike Pep and City. They like to go for more goals. Now it's like, okay, I will score 1 or 2, and then we'll just keep the ball. I will just stretch the play, just keeping the ball. So it's going to be really, really interesting what they're going to do. But I'm praying for West Ham to leave with something. That's what I'm praying. I just need Areola to have the game of his life, and then we're all good.
They just, like, David Moyes just needs to just take Kurt Zouma to the side before they walk out the tunnel and go, Erling Haaland is actually 50% cat, and then just push him out onto the pitch and just let him have at it, because Kurt Zouma is a piece of shit, and I will say that until the end of days, because anybody that, and I've thrown a cat across this room because it attacked me, but I did not kick a cat. Kurt Zouma is a piece of shit. I mean, we mentioned the Newcastle-Brentford game. I think that's a bit of a meh. We're about halfway through the show, so let's get into the business. First one we're going to go to, the final season of Goodison Park, hosting Arsenal for the very final time. Dan, I know you're looking forward to going there. I mean,
I just wish this was something other than water, talking about this, to be honest. It's a Thursday night.
You got to feel good about it, though, right? I mean, like, you beat Forest, you beat Palace. Yeah, draw with Fulham. That's a bit of a weird one. The nice late win against Manchester United. Tails are up. Team is fit, with the exception of Partey. You're still iffy?
Yeah, I'll be honest. Yeah, I had a debate at work earlier with one of my friends that's a Gooner as well, and I made a point that basically I hate this fixture more than any other fixture in the season, and mainly it is due to previous results. Obviously, Spurs away, United away, I can handle that. Everton away, as soon as it comes, I just think, right, bogey game, here we go, weekend ruined. And it was, it was sort of set for Saturday afternoon. I thought, all right, I can deal with that. Ruined my Saturday. I've got Sunday to look forward to. Oh no, we'll change it to a Sunday afternoon. Right, just make the whole weekend bloody miserable. No, but putting all that aside, our record at Everton is absolutely abysmal. I read a stat that the last time we actually won there, Rooney was playing, and I thought, please tell.
What?
Wenger was the manager last time you won at Goodison.
And it was the second time round when he came. So I this is what I thought. At first, I thought, please tell me that was the second time when he came back. And yeah, luckily it was. But
Okay.
yeah, we've got. I think we've got one draw out of like the last 5 games, and that is our best result, or one draw out of the last 6. I can't remember off the top of my head. And we've lost every other one. We are abysmal at Goodison. It's an awful record. I think 6 years we haven't won there in.
Oh my god!
I could be.
Yeah.
I looked literally just before this stream. I could be wrong. It's 6 or 5 years. I know that for sure. I would know that just from remembering, because I can't remember the top of my head. I can't remember the last time we did win there. It's bad. We just tend to switch off no matter what form we're in, and at the moment we're not really in good form anyway. We've had, the result of Man United. We were lucky. We were very lucky. And I'm going to answer a comment which I've just seen in my question, in the question of Havertz. He needs to be dropped for Sunday.
He got an assist on international duty. Are you sure you want to be dropping him?
No, he is. I'll be honest. I love Arteta, and I think he is brilliant, and I do not think he's going anywhere. However, what he's done this season is not right, and it just needs to stop. He's changed the team around a player. It should always be about what's in the best needs of the team, in the best interests of the team and the way that we best play. He has changed the formation that worked last season. We nearly won the title last season with a 4-3-3 attacking. All we have done is brought Rice in, taken Xhaka out. Why on earth would you feel the need to then mix it all up, start playing Partey at right back, bring Havertz in? I just don't get what he was doing. I really do not understand what was the thought process around them decisions. And that messed it all up, because he did that for a couple of games. Then he brought the right team in for United. And even that was a little bit shaky because people were not used to doing it. Partey went back into a midfield role. He wasn't used to doing that. And it was kind of like, all right, well, we're back to this. We need to sort of figure it out again. We now need to keep that shape. Partey's unfortunately unavailable now. Shock horror. We play him out of position for a couple of games and he gets bloody injured. Water is wet. But the problem is now we have a situation where he's going to feel like he needs to use Havertz. I would use Jorginho personally on Sunday, or Vieira. He's looked quality. If you're going to use a more attacking player, this is probably the best we've seen him in the last few games when he's come on. He's looked quite fresh. He's looked confident. Havertz has had at least 4 poor games since I've seen him arrive. You cannot set precedent.
You've only played 4 games.
Yeah, well, there you go. But you cannot set a precedent for these new players that, right, I'll arrive and I'll get in the team sheet every week. Because if someone else was to have 4 bad games, I guarantee you now, they're probably getting dropped. You play Sunday League, you have 4 bad games, you're off. There's going to be someone on the bench thriving to come on. And we have that. We have the depth now. We have Smith Rowe, we have Vieira, we have Jorginho. We have plenty of depth there waiting to come on. So why we feel the need to start Havertz in every single game?
This is a big money signing.
Baffles me.
Big money signing.
Pepe was a big money signing. Look how Pepe worked out. We've just cancelled his contract and sent him off to Turkey. We've just sent him off to Turkey for free. So we cannot sit there and repeat old mistakes. We need to mix it up, go with what we know. 4-3-3. I still don't think we win, personally. I think Everton just know how to control themselves against us. As terrible as they are. I can see it.
Have you watched Everton this year, though? Everton are
no, literally, but they have been like this for the past God knows how many seasons and still managed to pull off a result against us. I don't know how.
To be fair, Pickford's going to turn into some prime Manuel Neuer and just keep Arsenal out.
It just seems like no matter how bad they are, they always. I hope we do win. I hope we end this madness of 5 years or whatever it is without a win. Like, we need to end that. It's the most embarrassing stat I've ever known. You know, you can't win at Goodison. Christ, you might as well
Especially
go.
when-
You might as well go Luton and lose. It's almost that bad. It's kind of like, all right, fine. You can't win at Goodison. Like, what can you do?
Especially when Everton have been so bad over the last like 4 or 5 years.
This is what I mean. We've played them in the last. Yeah, they've been bad for a good. If we include this year, 4 years now, where they should realistically be down there. You know, they should be down in the Championship. And we're still not being able to get a result. Even with Iwobi gone, I would still bet my arm and leg that they'll somehow pull something out of the bag against us. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope we have a blinder, but Sean Dyche seems to know what on earth he's, not even him. You could put any manager with that team. They could have, I don't know, same as Coleman up top, and they'll probably somehow still do something with it. But I'm going to go, I'm going to go, my head is telling me 1-0 Everton. Bogey win. No, 2-1 Everton, actually.
I hope not. I need to look down.
2-1 Everton, bogey win. Luckily, well, Demarai Gray seems like he's not going to be there. I'm pretty sure he's left.
No, yeah. Demarai Gray, he's gone to join Gerrard.
He's gone, yeah. Luckily, he can't do what he did last year, because that would really send me somewhere else. Can't have that happening again, 93rd. But, yeah, I think we'll win. I'm going to say 3-1, actually. I'm going to go for United. I think we will win this time, but there's a part of me that really, really just keeps thinking about the last few results we've had there. Like, losing 1-0 was the worst, actually, which was last year. Not the Demarai Gray was the season before. Last year was the worst. Yeah, last year was 1-0. We lost 1-0, Sean Dyche. It was absolutely horrible. I'm pretty sure
his first game.
I'm pretty sure Tarkowski scored. Out of all people.
His first game.
I mean, when you let him score against you, you know it's really going wrong.
I can't contain myself.
Before I let you go on this one, Luke, I just got a couple lineup questions for you, Dan. Ashley L asking the question that all of us that have Gabriel in our FPL teams is wondering is he going to get back into the team? And with Partey out, who plays at right back?
Yeah, so for me, it would be Zinchenko left, Gabriel and Saliba in the middle, White at right back. I don't understand why you wouldn't do that. I'd be genuinely a little bit, I don't know.
Is there something there
I'd be a
with
bit confused
Gabriel?
as to why you wouldn't do that. Use the best tools that you've got, I say.
Yeah.
And how can you not use him when you've got 2 defenders injured? Yeah, I'm still a bit annoyed about the fact that we let go of Tierney, to be honest. It made no sense with the injury of Timber. But he seems happy out there. You know, he did an interview yesterday in Spain saying that he's really delighted. So good luck to him. But yeah, I don't understand how he doesn't get in the back four.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's
especially
I
now with
Partey
injured, and he shouldn't even be playing right back anyway. Go back to basics, unless Tomiyasu plays, and he did look good on international break actually. So I'm not going to say yes or no, because Tomiyasu has looked good. He looked good for us coming off the bench, and he looked good in international. So it's a tough one. I would say yes, but with Arteta, who knows? He might put, I don't know, he could put Declan Rice at right back at this rate. So
that sounds like a Pep Guardiola acolyte overthinking.
This is it. He's trying
that sounds like Brendan Rodgers.
This is it. He's trying too hard to be like, he's trying too much. I think, look, you done well last season, but do not mess with it. Just stick to what you know, and then maybe
he's on this Brendan Rodgers arc. That's what he's on.
That's mean. That's mean. Nobody deserves that sort of slander. Luke,
sorry, I had to.
How do you see this one going? Coming at it with red tinted glasses, you got to be expecting an easy Arsenal win, right? Like Arsenal, they seem like they're purring, and the Ev are sputtering.
To be honest, it's sort of a weird one, because I know that Everton have had a poor start to the season. But when you looked at the Wolves game and the Fulham game, they should have won the game, or at least picked up a point. It was only because of basically 2 keepers having the games of their careers stopped Everton from scoring. And obviously they got sucker punched with I think 2 late goals. So if you're looking at that, they created a lot of chances. They've just got no one to finish it in the back of the net, because Calvert-Lewin's out, and they've bought some Portuguese guy that I don't know if he's any good or not. So So I think they will create chances. I just don't think they're going to finish them. With Arsenal, it's going to be very interested who's going to start in goal. Because I've got a feeling Ramsdale, you've had your time, you've done well, David Raya, you're in now. And I think he's going to stay in because I think there was some inklings over the international break that the Arsenal people at Arsenal are really liking him in training, the distribution, and it's not like it's a keeper that Arteta's wanted before, but couldn't get it from Brentford. So I can see him coming in, and that's going to be one of the big calls this week is how David Raya is going to play against Everton. It's a weird one. Like I know I was joking with the Brendan Rodgers arc, and I do believe that the way he's trying to play Havertz, he's dying on the Havertz hill. I swear Rodgers did the same thing the season after we finished when we finished runners up. I swear he was like wedded to like one player, that he had to play one player, and that sort of became his downfall when the whole system just fell apart because he was trying to die on a certain hill. And if Arteta doesn't figure it out quick and he persists with this Havertz, he's got to play Havertz in that left 8 role, and it crumbles and Arsenal don't push on, progress, get closer to City, and if they have a poor Champions League run, because I think I jokingly said on a pre-recorded video that's likely never going to see the light of day again, is that if he doesn't get out the group and have a poor Premier League season, his head's on the chopping block.
He'll be gone.
Because he has spent, how much money has he spent? He spent more than Klopp at Liverpool. I swear he spent a decent chunk of change. And
this year alone, he spent 200 million easily, because Rice was 100, Havertz was 65, Timber was 40. So there's 200 there.
Yeah.
And then last year, I'm pretty sure he spent 200 as well. Almost.
And plus, his biggest issue is going to be, I think Saka said he played with an Achilles injury back half of the season. And I'm like, you're really going to regret not getting a winger to sort of ease the burden.
100%. I think getting rid of Pepe was the worst decision ever. Because
once his Achilles snaps, because I really like Saka as a player. This is not wishing injury on anybody, but if his minutes are not managed properly, and he's already struggling with his Achilles, one snap and that's him finitoed. Like you could even see like he looks shattered. I think he's played like 83 consecutive Premier League games for Arsenal, or started 83 consecutive Premier League games. And pretty much since he came in under Unai Emery, he's sort of been a mainstay ever since. He's never really got rested. And the fact is that Arsenal's hopes of doing stuff this season is resting on his shoulders. And he's already come out and said back end of the season when the team needed me, I'm carrying an injury, and the manager still doesn't want to rest him because he doesn't trust anyone else, then that's a big issue. That's the hill that I think he's going to die on, by saying, yeah, Saka's playing every minute. If he can run, he's in. Doesn't matter how badly he can run. If he can run, he's in, because he trusts him. So that's going to be the one thing that he's going to need to sort out. But with regards to the game, I don't want Everton to win because I want them to go down. I don't want Arsenal to win because it's funny when they don't win. So I'm hoping for a draw. A draw is good enough for me. It's a point for either side. No one gets what they really want. So a draw is what I'm hoping for.
I think you're both. I mean, Dan, you've obviously got the boogeyman curse feel about away to Everton, and Luke is just throwing out insane calls with David Raya coming in for Ramsdale. Which
I think that will happen, but I don't think it'll be. I think when Champions League comes into the play, we play PSV next week. Actually, in fact, on the 20th, I think that will be when David Raya gets his light, and if he performs, then there's going to be an argument as to why fix what isn't broken. Because Ramsdale has not been himself. There is huge concern in Ramsdale at the moment.
He has been himself though, Dan. This is a guy that got relegated 3 years in a row.
I don't think he's been as bad as people made out, but he's not looking the confident.
Never
I think he thrives off competition, And at the moment, he's not really got the competition yet because Raya's not stepped into his light. As soon as Raya starts, playing, I think Ramsdale will be like, right, I've got to get my ass in gear now. Head switched on, and hopefully we'll see the
I
Ramsdale
do think
we saw.
Ramsdale's going to be holding the bench. I think I've just got a feeling with him because he wants to be the number one. I feel like once he comes out the team, I can't really see him getting back in, and it'll be the end of the season, and he'll probably go, do I stick around to try and challenge when he probably knows he can't do the things technically on the ball, which is ironic because I think as soon as that article came out saying that Raya may get a look in, I swear there was a clip for in England training where he just picks the ball out the air and does some crazy skill. And I'm like, I don't think that's what it means by your distribution because you can do a fancy little trick.
Yeah. He needs the competition. I think Raya stepping in will be good for him personally.
Yeah, I just think that Raya is a better keeper. I mean, Antico with a good comment here. It says Ramsdale is the English Mignolet who makes easy saves look hard and then goal kicks out for an opposition.
But loads of keepers do that though. Did we see the Pickford save against Sheffield United?
Oh,
everyone made out as if it was outrageous when he actually made up for a mistake that he made previously.
They are brothers.
Yeah, Ramsdale and Pickford they're the sides of the same coin. Like it's a difference between those keepers and I mean, obviously we're biased here being Liverpool fans, but Alisson is so far ahead of both.
Yeah, I'd actually give Pickford credit. I'd actually give Pickford a little bit of credit, a little bit.
Don't do it.
When Everton needed him to stay up, needed him to pull out performances, he was there to keep Everton in the league, and it was arguably without him, Everton would have gone down if he basically performed like a Champions League level goalkeeper towards the back end of the season that kept Everton in the league. Because without him, Everton would have gone down. Now.
To me, I think the only thing that Arsenal have to worry about in this game is either Pickford having one of those games like you're talking about, where he's just absolutely inspired and nothing can get by his tiny arms. And the new guy they brought in, Beto, I think he could.
He's dangerous. I think we won't know what to do about him. That's the problem. That would be the scare. It's a bit like what happened with when we played. I think it was Forest. I'm pretty sure it was Forest. Yeah,
first game of the year.
First game of the season. Alanga came on, and we just didn't know what to do. Yeah. Because we haven't really played against him that much, so it was kind of like, and we were knackered. He came on like I think it was like 60th minute or something like that. And we just did not know what to make of him, and he caused so many problems, and he was quick. Beto, it looks strong and quick, which is really not what you want in someone that plays at that level. So he will be a threat for sure. But if we play Gabriel and Saliba like we're meant to, then we shouldn't have an issue.
No, it's I think this is a good opportunity for William Saliba to show his credentials, because I know a lot of people in our LFC Daytrippers community really, really rate him highly. He is a hell of a center half that you guys have and locked down on a long-term contract as well. This is the sort of game where you step up and you shut that opposition striker down and you make sure that he doesn't get those chances that he needs. So there's going to be he's a big, Beto is big. He's strong. He's good in the air. He's got a bit of a header on him. I watched, who did they play in the League Cup? Doncaster or somebody terrible like that. And he had one header that was it rocketed off of that guy's head. So he's going to be dangerous there. But I see this being so routine. I'm really, really feeling confident on your behalf, Dan. I think this is going to be a 3 or a 4-0 Arsenal job, just because I think Everton are in serious trouble. And if they're going to stay up, it's going to be against the other garbage teams, not against the top teams.
Hopefully. I mean, the one thing I'll say as well before we go into the other games is we've got to make the most on the wing, because they have terrible fullbacks, and Saka and Martinelli can thrive at that. They can cut in and do well and cause problems. So the one thing that we haven't done enough when we play Everton, and they've never really had the fullbacks that you look at ever since they lost, Lucas Digne and stuff like that. They've never had someone where you can look at and think, oh, that's a challenge. That's going to be an interesting 1-against-1. Saka and Martinelli all day should be winning those battles. So hopefully we take advantage of that. And if Jesus is playing, even in the middle, they're not fully strong. So yeah, hopefully I'm confident, but I can't be a little bit optimistic considering past events.
Yeah, it's completely understandable, but around here we always like piling on the Ev. So shifting focus from the blue half of Merseyside to the successful half of Merseyside, Liverpool, we have the dreaded 12:30 Saturday kickoff, or for us over here on the east coast of the North American continent, 7:30 in the morning. So real commiserations for anybody out on the West Coast where this match starts at 4:30 in the morning, because those are the days where you really earn your stripes being a Liverpool fan, getting up for those 4:30 in the morning kickoffs. But we head to Wolverhampton to play Wolves. Didn't do so well the last time we were there. We lost 3-0 in the league in one of many low points of last season, which was best be forgotten about. But one of the good things, Joey Daly here with a comment from a while ago in the show that I've saved. He says, looks like Ibu is back and ready to rock for Saturday. So, Luke, that's a big boost for us because it's pretty much locked in that Trent won't be available. Am I right?
Yeah, I think Paul Joyce said that he's out for this weekend. Yeah, so I can imagine the back four will be Gomez right back, Robertson left back, Matip, Kanate at the back. I can't see Kwanzaa. Is it Kwanzaa starting? I can't see him starting at all. Maybe he'll come on, maybe during the second half. But for me, that's the back four. I would expect Alisson to start. I know that. Are Brazil playing tonight? Are Brazil playing tonight?
Yeah, I'm sure they're done, aren't they?
Because I think with the South American lads, I think they're back like 70 hours before the game.
Yeah,
so
Brazil played on Tuesday, and that was
Brazil played on Tuesday. I don't think he played on Tuesday actually, Alisson. So I think he'll definitely start. I think McAllister will be on the bench. I think Diaz will be on the bench as well because of their international duties. Especially McAllister played in high altitude against Bolivia. There's no way that he is going to start Saturday at Wolves. So I wouldn't say massive injury concerns. It's just some slight issues. Van Dijk is still out. Our awful 12:30 streak. No wins last season. And it's another big test because away from home, especially last season, we were very poor. Away from home, too easily, you could literally run through the midfield like a hot knife, running through butter. So I think if we have a good quick start, I think if we score early, score first, just like we did against Villa at home, sort of kill the crowd, should be, fingers crossed, touch wood, it should be a routine win. Another clean sheet would be great. So you sort of dispel the myth that Liverpool are super leaky at the back. Be a cool little narrative to run if we keep another clean sheet without Virgil van Dijk. It'd be a little funny one. So, maybe you're better without him.
Oh, hey. Easy now. Now.
Hey, you know people will run that if we keep a clean sheet without Van Dijk. They'll be like, maybe Virgil is the problem.
You're going to get clipped up. You brought all the hot takes on a Thursday night coming off of an international break here. Better without Virgil. Arteta sacked by Christmas. It's
whoa. I did not say Arteta sacked by Christmas. I said,
well, I'm gonna take what you said and exaggerate it. You know, we're doing this for.
I'm just sitting here reading that comment about Europa League, licking my lips while you talk about Arteta being sacked by Christmas. I'm just reading someone say Europa League season. There it is.
Yeah, well, it's given the fact
we've been there, boys. Thursday night football. I've been there. Don't worry. Don't miss it.
I despise the Thursday Sunday thing.
I'll see you in January.
Come on. Let's be honest. I don't think there's any way Arsenal don't get out of a group.
We're basically playing it anyway. If you look at our group, we're basically there.
PSV, Lens, and Sevilla. I mean, Sevilla are the kings of the Europa League, so that is very much a Europa League group that you guys got. So I don't think we'll be seeing Arsenal in the Europa League this year. But I mean, the change at the back to me is the big question going into it, because I'm already having to think about, lineups that we're going to play and how we're going to play in those formations. Not having Trent there, to me, the 3-box-3 formation, and Den, you'll know about this because you guys like to play with the inverted fullback as well too, and it's built around Trent. And with Trent not there, it's hard to see Joe Gomez doing that. And in the preseason, when Trent wasn't playing, and Tsimikas was in, he was doing the inverted from the left side, but we've never seen Robertson dropping into midfield. So to me, it's a real big question mark over, do we see that 3-box-3 formation at all, or do we just go with the stock standard 4-3-3 formation and work out from there? And I mean, I guess really only time will tell. Hopefully, and this is for Red Steve, that this is the week that Joe Gomez breaks his duck and gets his first ever Liverpool goal, because it has to happen eventually. I mean, he's our longest serving player. He's been there longer than anybody else in the squad, and he still has never scored a goal for Liverpool. Dan, how have you taken, as an Arsenal fan, Liverpool season? Because I mean, there's no skirting around the issue. We were bad last year. I mean, somebody in the comments here, it's a while ago, said that, like, our away form was effectively relegation form last year. You know, we lost some what you would call absolute banker games. Away to Forest, we lost. Away to Bournemouth, we lost. This year, though,
you still managed to beat us, not away but at home.
Yeah.
No, we drew.
Oh no, 2-2. Yeah, actually, we should have won. Actually, that was
no. We should have won.
Yeah.
Is that the game where the offside lines weren't available?
Yeah, that was it. Where we celebrate. That was when VAR had started, and we started celebrating a goal, and then it got disallowed.
Oh, that old chestnut.
Yeah, that old chestnut. That was it. But no, yeah. In terms of Liverpool, look, you've got good depth. I think you've had, like many other teams last season, one of the reasons why, don't get me wrong, Arsenal played great last season, but Liverpool were one of the teams which didn't play as well due to, bad form, inconsistency in lineups, injuries. You weren't the only ones, but you had things not fall in your favour. Van Dijk, huge fall. I've never known such a decline in a player in my life. Like, if you look at prime Van Dijk, he gets in a lot of people's all-time Premier Leagues and stuff like that, but now people are talking about other players ahead of him in your current squad. I personally think Matip in certain seasons has been better than him if you look on form. Kanate, you're looking at how important he is. We're not even talking about Van Dijk anymore. I think stuff like that is where it went wrong, is that you didn't really have someone you could rely on at the back, which is key. Trent is so imperative for your squad, and obviously he's out this weekend, but I feel like he's one of them. He's like the glue. If you take him out, a lot can go wrong, but luckily you've got other things to fall on. You got the front three. I never worry about that. Like Nunez being injured, I don't think that's going to be an issue for you whatsoever, because you've got the likes of Gakpo, Diaz, Jota, and I think Jota's incredible. I genuinely think he's the one player out of Liverpool. I'm not saying he's the best, but he's the one player I would take out of Liverpool squad right now if I could. I just think he's still got a lot to show, and he's always
Not Salah, no?
Nah, he'll be gone in a year.
Straight swap for Saka.
He'll be gone. He'll be chasing Henderson down the money road. No, I'm joking. No, but I'm joking. But
I mean, that's the opinion of a lot of Liverpool fans. So that's not even a crazy thing.
I think Jota's very he's young still, and he can score goals. He's prolific. He's good at cutting inside, and he's good at playing in the middle as well. So he's got it all. I think your midfield has been a problem. I'm yet to see how good it is, but Szoboszlai looks like a freaking phenomenal signing. I saw a video of a pass from him in international break.
Insane.
It's the most insane pass I've seen in a long time. Like, he doesn't even look like he's trying with it either. He's just looks like he's passing it to a mate down the field, and it's like, you're doing that in a professional game, for God's sake. But yeah, if that can all come together, I think you'll be all right. You got the attackers sorted, the midfield. No one can say anything about that yet. Too early, too soon. You've got 3 new signings there. You can't really look at it and be like, yeah, that's going to work, because you don't know. Don't know much about Endo. I'm not going to sit. I'm not going to sit here and say I've watched Endo every week, because luckily I have a family, I have a life, and I've got better things to do. But
you didn't watch him and Tomiyasu bring down the curtain on the Hansi Flick era?
No, it didn't happen. It did not happen once, funny enough. But yeah, Szoboszlai I know a lot about. He's a great player. And McAllister, obviously, we all know he can be, one of the best things since sliced bread. He's a World Cup winner. He looked good at Brighton, so God knows what he can do at Liverpool. And we're still yet to see what's come. I feel like he's not really adapted yet in the Liverpool squad. He's become more defensive than what he's used to playing. But I think there's going to be more to come from him. As for Saturday afternoon, Saturday lunchtime, no one likes a 12:30 kickoff. I hate Wolves. If Everton, Luton, and Sheffield United don't go down, I hope Wolves is one of them, because they are a horrific, boring team. They don't score a lot, but they don't concede a lot either. It's just annoying. I don't think there's been one game I've watched of Wolves, even when they've won like 4-0. It's still somehow absolutely abysmal. It's just awful to watch. They've just never been an exciting team to play good football.
And
my hot takes.
You're forgetting about the glory days of that Wolves squad before.
I don't blame Wolves though. They've
top.
never had consistency. Their managers, they're always swapping. Their strikers. God knows how many strikers they've had in the last 2 years. They've gone from Raul Jimenez to I don't even know who's up top for him now. Matez Cunha or whatever his name.
They've got Kaladzic. They've got Fabio Silva, who has absolutely.
Silva's good, but he's still young and he's still. No, but he's got potential. But so many players have been brought in ahead of him and then gone out again, and he's still not getting in. So it's like, where does he fit? I don't think they know what to do. Pedro Neto, massive injury to him, let him down. I saw someone put earlier that he's good, but he was. I remember people were putting him in conversations with ridiculous players. I can't remember what season it was, but they were putting he looked phenomenal. I think he was even linked with you guys at Liverpool. And I was like, okay, he looks good.
Taking him as well.
Yeah, he looked good that season, but the injury really changed him. They've just never had good luck. I think it'll be fine. I think it'll be a good 3-1 win. Wolves just haven't got enough. They've looked good. They looked good against Man United. I think it was a couple of weeks ago.
It's exactly this.
Nunez has gone to City now.
Exactly that. Yeah.
Yeah, but their midfield. They've lost Neves. They've lost Nunez. I feel a little bit like how I felt with Brighton sometimes. How do you with Brighton? I mean, at the moment, I'm swallowing my words with Brighton because I said, how do you lose to Sado and McAllister in one summer and get away with it? You've got to meet consequences.
It's called
with Wolves, I think they will. You can't get rid of Neves, who has been phenomenal for them. I'm not saying great as in one of the best players, but for them particularly, he's been so influential. And then lose Nunez as well. And Moutinho, Moutinho was he was a bit like a I'm trying to think of a player, but he got the goals and assists. That's all he needed to do realistically, because no one else was doing it. So he'd provide that set pieces and stuff like that. It was important. And you can't lose that whole midfield and then just somehow survive. And like you say, there's not really someone you look at where you think they've brought in that's going to do the jobs that any three of them have done. So yeah, 3-1 Liverpool. Salah, and I'd probably go Gakpo. And then probably a goal from a set piece. One of your defenders, Konate, potentially.
Yeah. Joe Gomez. I like the sound of that.
You sound like I watched the Newcastle documentary the other week when Sean Longstaff got his first goal. It sounds like that all over again. Just some random goal out of nowhere. But
Timmy from South Park is who that is. Sean Longstaff. Tom Bolin here, he says Wolves' mojo was slowed over that penalty call, and I completely agree because. I mean, especially with Lopetegui leaving his post, 3 days before the season started, it looked like Wolves were just in an absolute state. And that first week game against Manchester United, they looked so good. They were absolutely robbed by the referee. That was a stonewall pen. Onana just absolutely flying Superman punching Kaladzic and somehow not giving up a penalty. And it really seems like that's changed because that team that played against Manchester United, now granted, Matthias Nunez was in the middle of the park for them that day and was looking like a 50 million pound player, and they didn't get the points. And then since then, they've really tailed off. So, I don't know about you, Luke, but I'm feeling somewhat confident about getting through this game fairly easy. Vase of Flowers here, he says, I'm optimistic that Wolves can be swatted aside with insouciance. If we get in the lead and we should finish them off, no problems. it feels like everybody in the comments are feeling very, very confident about getting a result. I presume you're the same way. Nice little clean sheet, nice 5-0 or something.
Hey, I'm just hoping for the 3 points. So for the 3 points, score early, like really shake off the demons from the last time we played. I think we went 1-0 down in like 5 minutes to like a Craig Dawson volley. So if we score in 5 minutes,
bloody hell.
yeah, exactly.
We were down 2 goals in the first, I think, 12 minutes.
Craig Dawson volley. I never want to hear them words in the same sentence.
Hey, Gary O'Neill does hold a win over Jurgen Klopp. So let's, at Bournemouth away. Yeah, I wouldn't say like I'm super confident that we're going to pick up the 3 points, but I'm just thinking that we'll get the job done. I'm really interested to see how many minutes Ryan Gravenberch gets, because obviously he didn't go away with the under-21s. Spent 2 weeks training, so hopefully he'll see some minutes.
Him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
I actually forgot you signed him. I haven't seen him yet, obviously. So, bloody hell.
Yeah.
Well,
so
I mean, he'll get some minutes.
I'm a big fan of Gravenberch angering the Dutch national setup. Like, he came in, officially was signed, the paperwork was all done, media stuff was all done on deadline day, and then he was called up for the under-21 Dutch squad, and he pulled himself out and he said, no, like, I'm moving to a new country. I want to go get settled at Liverpool, and because he's got a career to rebuild. I mean, this is a guy that was super promising coming from Ajax. He went to Bayern Munich for an absolute snip. I think they got him for less than 20 million euros or something like that. Like, that was a steal that Bayern got, and he just completely stalled out at Bayern. So there's a lot of pressure on him, like, kind of in the same sort of boat as Jadon Sancho, without the massive price tag, humongous wage bill, and manager that's willing to throw him under the bus at any given opportunity, and possible mental health issues. Yeah, or any of those things. So, like, I was really happy that, Ronald Koeman coming out being like, oh, this isn't good. And it was like, are you kidding me, Ron? Like, he was at the under-21 Euros all summer with the U21 Dutch team, Gravenberch was. So you can't say that he's turned his back on the national team. Like, have a little bit of compassion. So I can understand, though, Dan, why you forgot about it, because there was a little bit of flurry of activity on transfer deadline day, mostly from Nottingham Forest signing, I think, 47 players on deadline day. But I doubt he'll get the start. I'm presuming we'll see.
He'll get some bench minutes.
Yeah, I think he's going to come on at some point, probably late, second half.
He probably knows he's going to be a bench player this season anyway, so it's kind of like just.
I think, does the Europa League start next week?
It does. Thursday.
So
Thursday.
Him to get some minutes, and then I'd probably expect him to start on Thursday.
Yeah.
Again, is it LASK?
Yeah, last out of
the group you got in Europa League, I'd expect a B team for that at least.
Yeah, I'm expecting like Salah, Van Dijk.
Thing is, your B team could, at this rate, with no injuries, be the equivalent to a first team for, I don't know, a Villa or something like that. So if you have no injuries, that's the big question. If you have no injuries,
yeah. Especially in attack and in midfield. When you get to the back, I mean, apparently we've got some sort of curse at right back, because Trent is currently injured. Trent's backup is currently injured. And Trent's other backup went on loan to PNE and is so injured that they've just sent him back so that he can rehab. So we have 3 recognized all-out right backs, and they're all currently injured at the moment. So defensively, our squad is a little thin, hence why everybody was clamoring for a defensive signing before the window closed. But what's in the past is in the past. But like, I really like the options that we have to rotate in the midfield. So I can see Endo starting in the 6, Curtis Jones and Szoboszlai in front of him against Wolves. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Harvey Elliott almost certainly will start in the Europa League. I think Gravenberch will almost certainly start in the Europa League. I wouldn't be surprised to see Jones play again in the Europa League. So there's lots to change there. And I mean, in terms of attacking options up front, I don't know, Dan, if you're familiar at all with Ben Doak, but that is our backup right winger. And this kid
two of my best friends are Liverpool fans, and we've got we do a podcast ourselves sometimes. But they're always like talking to me about him, and I've seen some stuff which looks promising. Yeah. But he's young for the age he is. He looks very good.
Very raw though.
Very raw. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Actually, very raw. He looks exciting, and to be honest, it's something that you're probably going to need, because you know, when the day comes where you lose a certain player, which is going to happen at some point, because I'm not just talking because of the rumours, I'm talking mainly due to the fact of his age. You know, that time's going to come. You're going to need a young upcoming star, and he looks like he could be it. So
I think you've got one at Arsenal, haven't you? Young upcoming star that we can just take off you.
Sacco's not. It's not happening.
I don't know. Yeah, I've heard worries about his Achilles possibly snapping at any moment.
That's
I'd sooner give you Saliba, and that's not happening either.
Really?
Oh, I'll take him.
Yeah, I think I'd rather take Saliba because there's your Van Dijk replacement long term right there. But I mean, hey, that's pretty much it. There's no Friday game, so everybody has at least a full 24 hours to get their fantasy lineup set, and that's the last time I will remind anybody.
You've actually just reminded me, to be fair.
See? There you go.
Yeah,
See, this is what you get for being a guest. But other than that, I hope everybody else forgets and doesn't have a captain or fields an ineligible team or something along those lines. Just a quick heads up for the few people in the Day Trippers that are a part of our Survivor pool. You got to get your picks in for this week. We lost one person already week 1. Thursday night football starts here right away. So let's go Eagles, beat those damn dirty Vikings. But it's just great to have the football back. It's a proper schedule. And now until, the second week of October, I think is the next international break. Like we've got 5-6 weeks of full speed. You're talking midweek weekend. The games are coming thick and fast. This is it, baby. Until we get to Christmas when sport goes absolutely mental.
Bring on the Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Enjoy Thursdays. Come on.
Yes. It's.
I had to say it. I'm sorry. I'm not used to saying this.
Hey, get your shots in. I'm surprised. I haven't seen Arsenal for Life is usually in the chat, so I'm wondering if Dan is actually Arsenal for Life, who pops into our chats pretty regularly. But hey, if the shoe was on the other foot, we'd be pointing out that we're playing on Tuesday and Wednesdays.
I know for a fact you would be. So it is what it is.
Yes, absolutely. So I mean, hey. Going into the weekend, I'm pulling for Arsenal because I'm never going to cheer for Everton to win a game, and I think you're going to run out of steam again anyways, and it's no big deal.
I'm pulling for a draw.
I know.
Either way.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a blue hat and a red hat at the same time. So
whoa.
I mean, it sounds like you're hoping that Everton pick up points against top teams.
No. I'm hoping just for a draw, and then they lose the rest because I don't want Arsenal winning. I don't want Everton winning. So a draw's good enough for me.
All right.
No one wins.
So I think that's good enough for this Thursday show. We're going to be back next week on Thursday, looking back at another weekend of Premier League action where the PGMOL somehow finds another way of completely misinterpreting the rules and misusing the technology of VAR, and we can have a nice big chit-chat about that. But in the meantime, Den, you got someplace where the people can check you out? And you?
So I'm just on Twitter, talking my usual stuff. At the moment, not ranting about Arsenal, but yeah, I'm sure soon to come. Hopefully Sunday afternoon, that won't be it. But you can find me at den_AFC. Thank you for having me on. Always a pleasure to be on here. Nice to meet you and good to see you again, Luke. Always good with you boys. To be honest, I don't really do this stuff much anymore, but whenever you guys come knocking, it's always a pleasure. I'm never going to turn it down. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to football being back. It's going to be a good weekend, I think. Hopefully. I'm a bit gutted. I've got to wait till Sunday afternoon to see how good it is. But yeah, hopefully you boys start off nice. I'm going to watch my local Stevenage on Saturday afternoon, so that will be a nice little lift. So yeah, I'll be in the pub watching the 12:30 kickoff, which is you lot, and then going to see some League One football, which we're top of at the moment. So. But yeah, thanks
and
again,
that's
guys.
Why you don't get to watch the 3:00 games, because you're doing the right thing. You're going and supporting your local team down the pyramid. So
too good to be kind. Yeah, that's it.
There you go. The proof's in the pudding. Well, hey, it was absolutely a pleasure meeting you. You were a fantastic guest, and for one weekend only, I'm pulling for you. Come on, the Arsenal. Just absolutely put the boots to Everton. As the more brutal you can make the beating on them, the absolute better for me. And then we can all hope that West Ham United does both of our clubs a favor and takes some points off of the dreaded Manchester City. Luke, what about you? You got anything different going on with the fight games and stuff like that this weekend? I'm sure there's got to be, 15 UFC pay-per-views this weekend?
No. There's one UFC event, which is Shevchenko versus Grasso 2. Provided my internet holds out, I might do a watch-along for it. But if not, then I'm sort of at the mercy of whether or not my internet wants to play ball. So I'm sort of in limbo until I can get it sorted. So
what is that?
fingers
Andre
crossed.
against Fabio?
It's a Shevchenko versus Grasso for the flyweight title rematch, which is this Sunday. It's not a pay-per-view.
Oh.
It's like a fight night for Mexico,
I thought it was
Mexican Independence Day.
just
So
two
that's
old footballers out there fighting each other. Andre Shevchenko, and I think there was a Fabio Grasso, wasn't there? There was definitely some Italian named Grasso at some point. So it's good. There's always more of dudes punching each other in the face in a chain
And
link
women.
octagon. There you go. Well, hopefully it's all good. I mean, hey, I like your bright green surroundings. That's much better than a fancy living room with the grand piano behind you. So I hope and your internet was absolutely flawless tonight.
I'm
so
on my
maybe just
data
work off
today.
of the phone.
I'm on the 4G.
I know you're going to have a hell of a phone bill at the end of the month after this show, but that's enough for us. Again, thank you for joining us. Please hit the like button if you're watching us live. I imagine you've already done that by now if you could be asked to do it. If you're listening to us on the download afterwards or checking us out on YouTube afterwards, hit the like button, give us a rating, share it amongst your friends. We just celebrated our 10-year anniversary. If you like hilarious Irishmen telling crazy stories, I highly recommend you go back and check out this past Monday's pod where we celebrated 10 years of the Daytrippers with, I think Gav managed to scrounge up about 15 different guests. And I mean, I thought Gav was going to die from laughter. He was laughing so hard because, my God, there's some fantastic storytellers in this Daytrippers community. And then if you want to see me get attacked by a cat, there's always that available on full-time Reds after Liverpool 2, Real Madrid 5. But the most important thing, check out our charity partners. The Dublin City Marathon is coming up right away. So the 12 Dublin GAA playing women that are running the Dublin City Marathon to raise money for breast cancer awareness. Their time of reckoning is coming right around the corner. They've been training for almost a year now, raising money for almost a year, and we're getting close to their fundraising target. So if you can help us out donating for that, that would be fantastic. Share it into your social media accounts would be even better. Thank you guys very much for joining us. Thank you very much to Dan. Thank you very much to Luke. We'll see you guys around. Thanks for joining us. Adios.